Yeah. So I mean, I'm really glad you saw that. I mean, I think Dan is one of the best in the world at what he does, especially dealing with ACLs. I've known Dan 5 years, and we kind of developed a relationship just through how he's using the CLA in rehab and in physio, and just the kind of the level of detail he was kind of doing in his private clinic in Sydney. It was to a different level from anything I'd seen in the basketball space in terms of programs to return to play and just how he approaches it with a synergy in terms of he's learning all our basketball principles of play. He gets in practice and defends sometimes, and I've never seen that in a physio in any professional basketball team where the physio is making a conscious effort to learn the basketball and actually get out there on court with the players, and then actually doing the rehab to such a high level. So yeah, Dan is a huge asset here, and honestly, that was one of the reasons I took this job. Just having the ability to work alongside practitioners like that who are world class. It's so refreshing because you don't get that in a lot of places. It's incredibly siloed. It's kind of the stay in my lane approach. I've done it this way. I'm going to keep doing it this way. And yeah, it's so refreshing having guys like Dan here to work with.
Well, how does the Toronto, the Eastern World acquisition, how do they look different to you than the last time you played?
I think rebounding. She's an elite rebounder, and I think that was that's what she brings. And then just some toughness, some toughness on the interior, and I think the rebounding will help their defense a lot. So I still think Kiki Rice is coming back into the fray too. So I definitely think just with those two changes alone, they're a much better team.
After the LA game, you were talking about how you were excited to get back into the practice gym. You got 2 days of practice this week, with 2 really important games coming up. How do you feel that the practice went this week?
Yeah, no, really happy with the practices. Today we kind of just mixed it up a little bit format-wise. I think as the season goes on, it's important so the players don't get used to just the same old routine every day. So it was shorter today, and we did 10 minutes of team stuff and 30 minutes of player development. So players came in, we kind of had individualized things at each basket, got our work in, did 10 minutes of Toronto stuff, and that's that.
Outside of obviously just winning the games, do you have any goals set for just the defensive side of the ball in the coming 2 games?
Yeah, I think, when looking at goals, I think the word I'd use is experimentation. And that's defensively, offensively, for this last stretch of games, I want to be really exploratory, trying different lineups, trying, players in different positions, taking a look at some different defensive schemes and things we're putting in. So that's the way I'm looking at this last kind of stretch of the season.
When you have such a deep rotation of players, how do you manage workload between everyone and making sure they're not overworked?
Yeah, so I think firstly with the workload stuff, I do think playing 10 really helps. I'm really happy just with the dispersion in terms of having the best dispersion rate, which means the rate at which minutes are spread. Very happy with that. And then I think just it's a case of practices, being very smart with the lower, working with our performance team. I think one of the most important things is just always when we get the GPS reports post-practice, it's always kind of broken up based on our activities. So, knowing, what provoked more intensity, led to more X cells, B cells, and then, our performance team just keeping us on track all season. I think, it's not the 1990s anymore. You just can't go in as coaches and do what you want to do. It's really important that you kind of empower your performance team and that you make them feel like they can challenge you if you're doing stuff that isn't smart from a coaching perspective in terms of load management and all of that.